everyone, and welcome back to my DIY channel. Today I'm going to be sharing our dining room table and chair makeover. So for this project I had considered buying a new dining table and chairs, and then I was looking around, seeing how expensive everything was, looking at Facebook Marketplace to see if I could find something on a thrifted budget, but I just couldn't find anything. So I decided that I would just revamp our current table and chairs. So I'll show you how I transformed the look of them without spending a ton of money, and I really love them now, so I hope you'll like them as well. And let's go ahead and I'll show you what I did. So we actually bought this table off of Facebook Marketplace for 60 bucks, and it did have quite a few scratches on the top, so I knew that I would need to refinish it, and I wanted to stain it in a different finish. So we also bought these chairs from Amazon, and I've had them for years, and it wasn't until I bought this table that I decided to see if I could strip the black paint off the legs, because they were really getting scratched up as well. But for the table, I started by wiping away any dust and food particles to get it as clean as possible, and then I put on a mask and took our electric sander and a few different grits of sandpaper. You could do this by hand, but guys, it would take you so much longer, so I highly recommend that you use an electric sander if you can. The 3 grits that you'll need are around 220, 150, and 60. The lower the grit, the more it will take off, so you want to start with a 60 and work your way up. So I know that seems a bit backwards, but that's how the numbers work with sanding. So get your 60 and then try to go with the grain to sand it down. And this is really the longest part of the process, which, like I said, is why you should use an electric sander. It was easier for me to see how much of the old stain I was taking off by wiping it down with a cloth in between each sanding, so I'd say it took about 4 to 5 times of sanding and wiping to get it down to the natural finish. After I sanded the main parts down with the electric sander, I went in with the lower 150 grit paper and finished off the edges by hand, because if you go over these parts with the electric one, you just might take off a little bit of the wood since it's a bit harsher, so I would recommend you use the hand sandpaper just for this part. Now during this part of the process, I had an unexpected visitor, so I had to take a brief intermission to avoid being sprayed. Getting back to it, I decided to work on the chairs next and see if I could take off that paint, and I was so excited when I saw that beautiful wood underneath from just a little sanding, and I just thought it gave the chair a completely different look, and I love it so much better now. I honestly wish I had just done this sooner because I think it looks much more elegant and expensive. And to polish it off, I just went over the sides of the legs with hand sanding. You can see the difference it makes, and clearly these chairs are nice and sturdy to undergo this transformation. So I do have them linked below for you if you want them for your own home, especially since they're really affordable. I think they were like 2 for $100. Then hopping back onto the table, I took this stain Special Walnut by Minwax and a paintbrush, and then I just brushed a first coating on it. Now guys, I'm gonna be completely honest, I thought I was putting it on light, but it ended up being really dark and there were a few noticeable streaks, so I would say just learn from my mistake and be sure to go really light with each coat and paint with a grain or in the direction of the wood, because everything is going to show once it's dry. So just make sure that you do follow the lines of the wood. And you also want to let it dry before you go in with a dry cloth to wipe it and then spread that stain around. I think I should have waited maybe a little bit longer because it was a bit damp, but this helps to keep the stain evenly distributed. And then I gave it another good sanding with that 220 grit paper because I didn't want it to take off too much more, and then the finer grit helps to give it like a smoother finish at the end. And then my husband helped me with the last step, which is to go in with polyurethane, and this helps to lock in the stain and also protect the table. He used a small rag to distribute it and gave it a couple coats a few hours after the stain had set. So you'll want to leave the table set at least, I'd say 24 to 48 hours after this final coat. And this is how it turned out. As I said, I thought this completely transformed the look of this table and chairs on a very affordable budget. Well, I hope you guys love this makeover as much as I do. Be sure to give it a like if you did, and comment below. Let me know if you are going to be planning to do this for your table. If you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them for you. Be sure to check out all of my other projects. I do have them linked below for you. And thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. Be sure to subscribe if you're not already, and hit the bell so that you are notified the next time I upload a video to my channel. So I'll see you next time.